Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know how my mic sounds. Haven't been back on this since the Rogue Trader stream the other day, and I just want to make sure everything sounds good. Hello to everybody who is already in chat. Go for it. Painting, Jared Blair, Gordon, Metallica Kind, and Havman. It's lovely to see you guys. If you saw the title of this stream, while yes, I do plan on trying to work on some Legion Imperialis, this stream is more just about me being able to talk and breathe for the loss of the best cat in the damn world. Why am I getting... Wait. What? Are my head... Oh, my headphones are connected.
Yep.
It's
fine. I'll just plug them into this.
Okay, cool. I was like, why am I hearing music around now?
It's true. I was like, what is going on right now?
We're going crazy.
Bluetooth headphones.
Yes. Oh, no, here, this camera.
Bluetooth headphones connected.
Yes, my Bluetooth headphones connected, and I was hearing the music we've got. Sounds good? Okay, good. I'm really glad to hear that. So yeah, so if you saw the title of this, we're going to be talking a lot about Jack today. For those of you that have not already seen the myriad of posts that I've been making on most of my social medias, I think the only one that I haven't like posted on is like X, because it's X and like toxic place, and I just don't want to. I mean, maybe putting some good into it is good, but like that's I think the only place that I haven't really said what's been going on. But for those of you that have not seen, who maybe don't follow me that closely across social media, yesterday around 5 o'clock, we had to put our best boy, the Jack Meister, to sleep.
It was 4:55 p.m. Pacific time.
Yep. If you've been following this channel for a long time, basically since its inception, you'll know Jack has been a major part of our lives. Basically since he and I have known each other. Chaos Cultist and I, that is. And in 2020, he got really sick. We had to have his gallbladder removed, and we weren't sure he was going to live through that. The vets weren't sure. They even warned us that like a lot of times, even if people can afford to pay for the surgeries, they're not always a thing that works. But we wanted to try, and try we did. And we were lucky enough to be able to afford to get him the surgery, and he survived. He got sick again in 2021, which scared us. We thought that might actually finally be the end. But gosh darn it, he's a little trooper.
Yeah, in 2021, I think the only things he had to do was go in for fluids and like
I think 2021 is when his kidneys first started to actually fail.
Yeah.
I think that's when we first found out that he was suffering from kidney disease, which may have been there prior, but
he was an alley cat adopted from a humane society in Savannah, Georgia.
Yeah.
From a litter of kittens that, as far as I am aware, they were an alley cat bunch. Going so far as whoever named the original litter before bringing them in, named them all after liquors.
Yes.
Like there was like Hennessy, and Jack's original name before we
was Bailey.
Like the liqueur.
Yeah.
And I don't remember, like I think there was like a Johnny Walker or something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But, like whoever brought them in was a big fan of booze.
Yeah. God, he was such a cute kitten.
My first meeting with him.
Yes, please.
Where's your mic?
Right here.
In my shirt.
Here,
flip it around so it's actually.
Sorry, there you go.
That's better.
There you go.
Yeah, you don't want rubbing on you.
My bad. Sorry, guys.
So my first meeting with him, and the reason I met Jack was entirely because of Angela. She was running the anime club at our college at the time, and I was running the tabletop gaming club, like Warhammer, Magic, Dungeons and Dragons. And our club was older than her club, and because her club was just getting started, they were being very good about doing everything you have to do according to the rules to be a club.
Yep.
And something we had not been good about in the past was doing mandatory charity work that the school wanted us to do to qualify for funding and such. And so I started going with Angela like every other week or so to the Humane Society to play with, feed cats. Some people played with the dogs, I think.
Yeah, we were very cat focused. So the whole reason even that I like kind of forced the club to do it even was I am a goody two shoe. I was trying to follow the rules.
Angela's very lawful evil.
I am very lawful evil. But like one of the reasons I was selfishly was like, oh, Humane Society needs like people to come in and do stuff. I was away from my cat, who like actually passed while I was in college, and it was not nearly as hard as losing Jack was because I was distant. Like I hadn't seen her for many years, like in person as much because I was in college and I never really went back home that often because they were in Hawaii, I was in Georgia. It was an expensive trip. So like I saw her very rarely. So when she passed, like I cried, but it was very brief and like I felt very distant from it. And so I didn't really mourn her, but like
Can I speak
yes,
about that
I'm sorry.
when that happened?
Yes.
If I might.
Yes.
It was also because we got the news in public.
True.
We were literally out at a shopping mall when you had the news about.
That's
Flowery.
true. Yeah, I did. I was out on like yeah.
You were in a changing room.
Fuck yeah, I was. Man, I had forgotten about that. I didn't even recall when I had gotten the news. I just remember that like
you were in the changing room at Hot Topic.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, yeah. That was so awkward.
It was a bit.
That was so awkward.
I hope I handled it okay.
You did great. You actually did very, very good. So I ended up wanting to go to the Humane Society because like I was feeling that loss. I was feeling distant from her anyways. And so like, and I love cats. Thank you guys so much, by the way, for all of the condolences and everything in chat. I really appreciate it. We'll look through those in more detail soon. I need to get this off my chest. I need to talk with him about I need to talk about him with other people who also knew him. And that's one of the things that I just wanted to call out right now near the beginning of I'm really grateful that I got to share Jack with you guys. He's always been an incredibly social cat. Like
I'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll talk more about that. But and as he's gotten older, like we haven't been near enough to friends to have them regularly visit. So being able to put him into videos and bring him on live streams and show him to you guys and to see you guys be excited to see him
meant a lot.
Meant so much to both me and the Chaos Cultist. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for that. Go ahead. I need to.
Yeah. So that's why of all the charity work, also playing with kittens and puppies, obviously
so difficult, right?
Yeah. So that or go pick up trash by the highway. Which one am I gonna pick?
Exactly.
So we were there, and I don't think it was necessarily my first time I was at the Humane Society, because I think we were doing work there for a little while before I decided I wanted to adopt.
Yes. Yeah. No, we had been. We had actually been going for like a month or two.
Yeah, I think so. But what ended up happening was this one litter came in, the one we spoke about previously, and Jack, little kitten Jack, like at one point when I entered the room, or like the group of us entered the room, he like climbed up the front cage of the door of the cage, like with all four claws.
Yeah, he was like a little spider.
Yeah, and was like at me. And originally, when we were talking about this, we were actually talking about we were going to get a different cat in the litter.
We originally were going to get the runt. We were trying to get the runt, was I think what the plan was.
Yeah, there was originally the plans to get the runt of the litter, but someone else adopted them before we could. And my memory of it was the runt was your pick.
Yep.
But I wanted the hyperactive one screaming at me through the doors.
And that's the one that you ended up getting.
Yeah.
Which is great, because it was like that we were picking him out for you anyways. So like, I'm glad that you got to go with the one that you wanted.
And so that little alley cat, like through my college years, like that cat got to party with people who have been gone on to do art in BioWare, Ubisoft, narrative director on the South Park game, people who worked on The Sims, people who work at Marvel and DC. That cat partied with people in
Yeah.
college because I ended up having like of my circle of friends. I had the second best party house.
Yes.
The best party house was literally owned by a billionaire who was at the college and we were friends with, but his parties were a little different.
His parties were way different.
Were a little different.
A little bit different. Really quick, Havman, thank you so much for the $10 donation. Sorry if it makes you cry. Jack lived the best life he could possibly have because of you and Chaos Cultist, our great kitty parents. He's loafing, playing with all the toys, and enjoying getting all of the tuna he can. Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he very much is. And thank you for the kind words, Havman. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, after that, he got to spend a little bit of time in Virginia, where he got to spend a lot of time seeing deer.
Yeah, he was really, really excited about the deer, actually. He would sit in the windows a lot in, like, the sunroom of your parents' house.
Yep.
And, like, watch the deer in the backyard.
So that, we then flew him cross-country. That was...
traumatizing.
For everyone
mostly
involved.
I think mostly for us, but I think a little bit for them. I think it was a temporary traumatization for the cats. I think they forgot it very quickly after they got settled into the new place. But for you and I,
oh man,
it was a long flight.
Yeah, and thankfully in the home we lived in, that if you've been watching this channel for a long time or you've gone back and watched like OG videos.
Yeah, if you've gone back and seen those OG videos.
We lived in that apartment for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's the apartment we moved into when we came to the Bay Area, and we were there until 2022. And one of the great things for them there was we had, as a result of the fact that our apartment was right by the railroad tracks,
yes,
we had a clear view of the mountains.
Yeah, we had like an amazing view of the Berkeley Hills, and it was great.
And the cats would like sit in the open door or window facing it and like just enjoy that.
Yeah, it was so good.
And even after that, when we moved to the larger home that we were in before this one, the
one where
the sort of the open floor plan.
Yeah, that really big open floor plan.
Where we had the where we had all the board games against one wall.
Yeah, and the really, really, really tall ceiling.
Yeah, that place.
He got so much light. There was one giant window in our living room
that was like 15 feet tall because we were renting a penthouse.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
And it just didn't have a second floor.
Yep. So it just had a really tall window, and it was facing the setting sun. I think. Or the rising sun. Yeah, sorry. It was facing
the mountains.
Yes, so it was facing
the east.
Yeah, facing the east. And so every morning, like, Jack would just get to lounge, like him and Kita would just bake in the sun. And then in this space, he just had so much space. Like, I will admit, I think he missed the carpet a little bit. Because we have hardwood floors now. But overall, I think just
because we're not in the country, but if you know the San Francisco Bay Area, you go out far enough, you hit the edges. It's like in Cyberpunk, when you leave Night City and you drive out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Start to get to like the farmy area. We live out near the farmy area.
Yeah, and so he's gotten to see tons of birds out here, clear open skies, and had plenty of space. And like, I do think he's enjoyed getting to be in a quieter space in his elderly statesman years. And so like, while I am desperately going to miss him, and I have cried so many times, and I'm frankly, like, I know I'll probably even cry more during this, but like, I am so tired of crying.
Yeah.
Because I'm tired of like being
Jack
sad.
Didn't
and
like it when we cried.
No, he never did, and he was so sweet. So like,
I socialized him so much in college. Like, I'm the kind of person, when I had him as a kitten, because he was a hyperactive kitten, I would like pick him up in one hand and like Superman fly him around. I set him on my shoulder all the time. Like, I did not let that cat not be physical with me. And then because college art students who are partying love a cat.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Like, he never really grew afraid of people, so like there would be like college parties where you'd have a bunch of people with like string toys making him leap 5 feet into the air.
Oh yeah, no, he loved his whip.
So he was very, very, very socialized.
Mm-hmm.
And he was very sensitive to our states of being. I mean,
Yeah.
the blunt, we've talked about this, but Angela and I have not traveled, like overnight traveled
Mm-hmm.
since his surgery in 2020.
Yeah.
If you haven't noticed, you're ever like, you don't do cons or anything. It's because since that surgery, I have been on constant hospice watch for him.
Basically, yeah. Like if anybody's ever wondered, like, oh, why have you never gone to the LVO? Why have you never gone to Adepticon? Like,
because we needed to be back every 6 to 8 hours to feed and make sure he got his medicine.
yeah, he was in such a state of decline for such a long period of time, and I do want to say that like he was living the best life during that. I have no doubts
Like,
about
he was
it.
very stable for a number of years.
Yeah, honestly, like the while we knew this was coming, and we basically on our last vet visit, the last two vet visits, both times his numbers with his kidney disease, which is not an uncommon thing in cats. I just want to make that very clear. Like the kidney disease that he ended up developing, very, very common. So like I don't think it's
more than likely a genetic.
Yeah, we really think it's a genetic issue, etc. And like hearing that those were declining so rapidly, like that's when I knew that we probably didn't have that much time left with him. I am so grateful we got to spend one more holiday with him. Oh my gosh.
I'm grateful to you and the vet that you took him for his. We were giving him checkups every 3 months.
Yeah, it was to the point where like it had progressed strongly enough that we needed to bring him in every 3 months to do like a full panel.
Yeah. And here's the thing about it is the one we had 2 weeks ago was completely scheduled, but we both had noted that he was getting more tired. And because we brought him in, because we ran those tests, we knew what was happening.
Yeah.
Now hypotheticals are terrible to talk about in this situation, but what I would say is if we hadn't gone to the vet and he just started acting the way he was acting the last 2 days,
yeah,
we would be in a situation where we'd only take him to the vet today to get him, emergency checked.
Yeah, to have tests run and then find out, oh God.
And not have the opportunity that we've had for the last few weeks.
To say goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate you going through the effort to do all that.
Oh, of course. I would have never not gone through that effort for him. And I'm going to go through the same thing for Kita because we still have our baby girl.
Yes, we do.
And she is wonderful. She's downstairs. She's not nearly as social as Jack. So going back to the Humane Society where we picked him up for the first time, that little.
How's Chad?
Chad is doing great. Thank you guys, by the way, William and Jared and Unpainted Lead Syndrome about the condolences and everything, and to everybody else who's been saying that in chat earlier. Thank you very, very much. No, I understand. Like, okay, so going back to the Humane Society where we got Jack, after you had gotten Jack, I think it was like, was it the next year? Because I know she's a year younger, so I guess it would have been a year apart.
So I ended up so Jack was born in June of.
Exactly.
Yeah, he was born in June. I adopted him in October or November. I don't quite remember off. I have paperwork. I don't remember right.
Yeah,
now.
I don't remember off.
And then I believe you got Kita either that summer or that next school year.
I think it was the next school year because I think she is I don't actually know when her birthday is.
But I know she's a year young.
She is definitely a year younger. And I think it was like a year apart. I actually, yes, because I got her after I had graduated and you got Jack while you were still in undergrad.
Yep.
So, and you were a year ahead of me. So I think you got Jack in, was it your senior or junior year?
18 to 19 was freshman, 19 to 20 was junior.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, so you got him in your
Jack was at my 21st birthday, and that's how I always remember that I got him when I was 20.
Yeah.
And that's how I always know his age.
Yeah,
it's
so
my age when
think
it's 20.
I think I got Kita the following winter,
That sounds right.
or maybe the summer, because I know it was post graduation because my parents weren't around, and I was out of the dorms.
And you were lonely.
Definitively, like and I was working like full time. So yeah, so that was what happened with
And
her.
we were having situationship.
Oh yes, we
which
were.
was all my fault.
Which
is not my fault. Okay, so here's the thing: our situationship was all my fault, but it wasn't my fault because it was her fault, and I'm pointing at Angela.
Yes.
So like, it's her fault.
It is. It is my fault.
Because when I was single and asked you out, you turned me down.
It's true. I didn't think I was dateable. Okay, whatever. That's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about our wonderful, amazing cat. Oh, we just had. Okay.
I think we have a package. I'll be right back.
All right. How unusual! I wasn't expecting anything today. I'm not sure what that would be, but yeah. So like, it's just. It's gonna be weird. Like Chaos Cultist and I have already talked about it. Like, because he's so social, because he was so incredibly cuddly. Like, I cannot emphasize to you guys enough how cuddly Jack was. It was infinitely cuddly. Like, anytime he could be close to either of us in a seated or laying position, he would attempt to be that way. I can hear like people talking. I have no idea what's happening downstairs. And so like it's just been so the house already just feels very quiet, and one of the reasons that I wanted to even do this stream is I want to mourn him, of course, but I also want to not dwell on the fact that I don't have him anymore. I'd rather celebrate how amazing he was and how he gave me warm, fuzzy feelings and just made my life better. And so that's really like why I wanted to do this today.
Oh, the door was someone doing a poll about solar power, so not really necessary. However, there is a package for you.
Oh, what? Oh!
Is it safer work?
Yes, this is safer work. Did it come early?
Is it supposed to be from Noah? Deep Cut Studios?
Deep Cut Studios. Yes. Oh, this is so exciting.
Oh,
okay.
The mat.
This is the mat.
Well, keep talking about what
Okay. Yes. Sorry. We'll have a fun thing to show off as well. That's completely unrelated. Well, it's related to the Imperialis, which is what I am. I am clipping things out, guys. I am doing some work. While I talk about my cat. But one of the reasons that I really wanted to have, because like Chaos Cultist and I debated whether or not we were going to stream today. I mean, you might have seen, and I think it's still up. We are going to private tomorrow or yesterday's Rogue Trader stream
and redo that.
And I'm gonna redo all of that. I still have the initial save point from when basically that stream started, so I'm just gonna go back through and redo it because that stream was a disaster.
I mean, you guys kind of saw bluntly, you guys saw the time we made the decision.
Yes. And so, but I really wanted to come on today and just get some work done because I know that he wouldn't want me to be sad for an extremely long period of time. And I also feel like because I knew this was coming and we knew for the last, like, I would say 3 months at least, 3 months and some change, that we probably didn't have much time left with him.
Yeah.
I've been able to mourn.
We've been able to make the most of our time.
Yes, I've been able to make the most of my time, and I've been able to cry directly into him that I'm going to be sad when he's gone.
We told him everything we wanted to tell him yesterday, which was nice to be able to do.
Yes, it was incredibly, incredibly nice to be able to do. And I just want to keep moving forward because I know that if I just sit here and I dwell on my sadness, and if I don't go and do things and like talk to you guys and like try to continue my life, I'm just gonna crash and burn. So, because I'm just
move forward in game 2.
Exactly. I need to move forward and gain 2. And oh no, no, no. Don't worry about anything like I have been crying off and on for like days. So don't worry about if your sentimental messages about Jack make me cry. That's fine. That's good. That's happy tears of knowing that
Cathartic.
he yeah, it's cathartic. It's knowing that he had not only a positive impact on me and the Chaos Cultist and Kita, but that he got to have a positive impact on potentially thousands of people,
Even if it's just making them go, "Aw."
even if it was just making them go ah, or like or saying that he's cute or whatever, or just having brief warm fuzzy feelings, like knowing that I got to spread that joy of his existence to as many people as I possibly could genuinely makes this easier. Like it is still difficult and I miss him so much already. But I don't want to remain sad forever. And I know I'll get to see him again. And I'm looking forward to that time, but I know it's not going to be for a while. And I can now pour all of the love and doting I was giving to him fully into his sister, which I know he will love. And that's going to be great. So I'm excited to do that. And if I can be genuinely honest, it is, I don't have any regrets. I I genuinely think we gave Jack the best life we possibly could have without like making it just torturously long for him, because what the vets did tell us, like we could have prolonged things by like bringing him every single day
For dialysis.
for dialysis to give him fluids to keep his kidneys healthier,
which would have kept him going, I guess, theoretically indefinitely until something else happened.
right? But like
But
that but
he'd have to be there for hours a day.
he'd have to be there for hours a day. I don't want to have like I don't want him associate I didn't want him associating his final like time on earth with pokey needles and gross smelling places, because that's
Strangers.
and strangers. Like I wanted him to be at home with Chaos Cultist and I and Kita, and that's what we got to do. And so I have no regrets
No.
about how things turned out and how we handle things. My only regret is the unrealistic one of that every pet parent has of I wish I could have made him immortal so I could have kept him around forever, of course. But that is not healthy and it is unrealistic. So, realistically, I can genuinely say I have no regrets. I just miss him a lot. And I'll probably have up and downs for the next couple of months pretty strongly. I will admit with you guys, like, so if there's periods where I just like don't answer messages on any of my platforms or something, just know I'm probably having a struggle moment, but I'll get back to you guys like ASAP, that kind of stuff. I don't even think that's actually going to happen. Like I know some content production might go down a little bit and or slow, just because time consuming and I will be tired. Like emotionally, I will just be tired, and it's like I will need to pace myself.
I just want to speak up and say I want to try and, like, not immediately,
Yeah.
of course, but I want to keep us moving because
Yes.
to a point you talked about earlier, in 2020, when everything happened with his surgery and everything, obviously that was in March or April of 2020, lockdown, immediate beginning of it. We live in the San Francisco Bay Area. Pretty much everything that you heard about the San Francisco, East Bay, Berkeley, Oakland area about stringent lockdown protocols, masks, everything for years was true.
Yeah.
And we were living in this has a point.
Mm-hmm.
We were living in a shopping center. That's where our apartment was. It was one of those things where it was like apartments on top of a shopping center. And during that time period, the entire shopping center closed down. It was all boarded up because it was also the time of some of the protests. And being near Oakland, we saw them.
Yep.
And what that resulted in is all we had was being locked in a very small apartment with a cat that was going to live, but was very sick at the time. We had nowhere to go. We had nothing to do. Yeah. And this is a heavy reason, I think, also that even hobby nights started going.
Yeah. Because we wanted to pour our energy into something that wasn't just having anxiety over whether or not he was going to continue on for who knows how long. And I have to say, I am incredibly grateful to Jack for giving us 5 years. Like, after that, like he got sick and we really weren't sure how, like, because the vets were like, he could live for another year, he could live for another 6 months, he could live for another 10.
Yeah.
Like, it was like they had no actual realistic prognosis for how long we were going to actually have left with him. So the fact that we got 5 beautiful years where we got to move him into bigger, better places and show him so much love and get to share him with everybody, I'm so grateful for.
But my point
sorry.
That because what we had was work from home, sit and watch YouTube next to our sick cat, and then walk around a seeming war zone.
Yeah.
I have seen what happens when you and I hyperfixate on something like that with nothing to distract us.
Yes.
And I know how much better we do when we do have something
to focus on. Because
this is just my opinion, but like, I got that strong autistic game designer energy, and you got that strong ADHD girl energy. And so the brain has to go somewhere.
Yes.
And if we just sit and dwell, it's not healthy.
I agree.
Spiritually, mentally, physically. I haven't eaten basically anything except for a bowl of soup in 24 hours.
You had eggs and toast this morning. I made sure you ate breakfast.
Right. I did eat that.
Yeah, but you haven't had lunch yet, have you?
No.
Okay, I have had lunch at least. Don't worry, I am eating. You need to go eat lunch. I also need to get my bases from downstairs because I realized
I will go get them for you. Here, show off.
Yes,
your thing you got for Legion Imperialis.
Yes, to do a brief interlude from the sad news, let me show you some exciting things. I bought a fancy new mat for Legion Imperialis, which is what I am technically working on right now. I know I showed them a little bit ago. And I just want to say thank you again to everybody in chat. Brother Experimentus, you have 13? I know all 13 of ours are here with us. You've had 13 different pets. That's such an incredibly large number, and I'm so glad that you were able to give a loving home to so many delightful creatures. But yes, it is a very large log, isn't it? Let me unroll it a little bit. So it's a ruined battle sector. This is from, let me double check the name because it's a new company that I'm less familiar with.
Sorry, I tore the...
No, it's okay. Deep Cut Studios. So Deep Cut Studios, this is not sponsored or anything.
Yeah,
I bought this. So just hashtag not sponsored. I bought this mat.
Let me zoom out.
Perfect.
Nope, that's not zooming out. That's turning sideways. Oh, that's nothing. That's
There we go. So it's 4 by 5 feet, which is the recommended Imperial Legionalis size. But yeah, so Deep Cut Studios, just discovered them. I think they've been around for a while. I think they're in Lithuania, if I'm not mistaken. What?
Got that pungent.
Oh yeah,
it has a pungent Lithuanian factory smell.
That's whatever that smells like. Apparently. Oh, and thank you for bringing the bases. So yeah, so we got that, and I ordered that recently, because we are building a little army men. Put together some of, hold on, it's focusing on my face. I'd like you to focus on the miniatures, please. Focus on the minute. My face isn't here. Focus on the miniatures. Camera, you were doing so well.
You need my help.
Yeah, it's not focusing where I wanted to.
Okay, where do you want the focus?
On my hand. Instead of my face.
I'm trying.
No, I understand.
Pull it away a bit.
There we go.
Yeah, I think I have to like digitally zoom.
Maybe I was just too far. Maybe I was too close, and it was just like no. No, because see, it's still focused.
Give me a moment. I'm chasing you now.
Oh shit! Sorry, I have a listen. My hands are wobbly.
Yeah, I can tell. That's as good as we're getting.
That's good enough. Oh, here, if I pull back a little bit, there.
Yeah, that's what you're.
Okay, there we go. I'm sorry. My hands like really wobbly, but I'm building tiny little army men. And so because I got sent a bunch of wonderful terrain.
See, look how good that looks now.
Oh, he looks great. Yeah, see, you did it wonderfully. Those are your little flamers. But yeah, so I got sent a bunch of really awesome terrain from Gale Force 9. It's their battlefields in a, well, they are not calling them battlefields in the box anymore. Like they still have that branding, but like these ones aren't labeled as such. And these are being worked on by Thunderhead Studios, and their sculpts are great. Really, really like what they're doing. And it's a bunch of terrain for epic scale, these little guys. I think Chaos Cultist is going to grab some, but we laid it out.
It still says Battlefield in a box.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, it's in small font.
Oh, it is. Okay, yeah, this is the Gothic sector Battlefield in the box. So I was sent a bunch of both the ruined versions as well as Wave 1, and these ones are not currently available. These will be available. Some of them are going to be becoming available this month, and the rest of them are becoming available in March. Actually, yeah. It's a big March release.
Yeah, if you've been paying attention to a lot of the Warhammer tabletop YouTubers, I think almost everybody got sent them.
Yeah, anybody who's doing epic battle reports right now, I think a lot of those big
Sword and Steel got sent them.
That's true. That's true.
Sent them. Tabletop Time, I'm sure got sent them.
I'm sure probably, but yeah. So we got sent these. Which was really, Jack loved the giant box that these came in, by the way. Just throwing that out there to continue.
He's a box cat.
He's a box cat all the way. He loved boxes. He loved bags. He was all about them. But we got sent a bunch of these, and we laid them on the table. And if you're a YouTube member or if you're a Patreon member or Discord, if you're on Patreon and you're a member of the Discord through Patreon, then you've seen me post the table display of having all of the terrain out. Because I haven't shown that publicly except for, well, on the closed services where if you pay me, I showed them to you already. And we took some really cool shots. I loved it, but the thing that bothered me was I was like, okay, but if we're gonna use this in like battle reports, I don't like the table beneath didn't really work. And the current
we have a wood tabletop.
We have a wood tabletop, and then the only other playmat that we have, I think I grabbed the wrong one when I left Games at Berkeley because
well, no, I owned two.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think I only grabbed one of the two that you owned,
yeah,
and I
Games
grabbed.
at Berkeley has a few things of mine.
That's I think so. It's whatever. It's fine.
I kind of want the Dragon Slayer back.
Oh yeah, no. If you want to get that, absolutely, because we can put that in the car.
Can we?
Yeah, I think we would need to. We would just have to like.
It would go into the front seat.
It would. We would need to foam the tip. Like I just think if we brought, because I've saved some of the foam and stuff for our move. I think we could make it happen. I think it also could potentially lay diagonally, going towards my seat.
Yeah.
And then having like the blade. Or the point is I think we could get it.
Listen, I'm kind of hoping by the time we move, I have a truck. So.
I mean, that's entirely possible as well.
Yeah. By the way, if anyone's ever wondered, no one has ever wondered. I haven't had a driver's license since 2020, and now I might actually get one.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
Yeah. The story behind that is not as bad as it sounds.
No, literally his license expired in 2020, but he hadn't updated it since we moved to California, so he still had his old Virginia license.
You're supposed to transfer within 2 weeks of moving, and I never did.
And so we had no easy way of electronically.
There was no way in May of 2020, when my birthday is, and when it expired, to do a state transfer on the online DMV. So my license expired during COVID, and
we never went back and got a new one for him.
And well, the thing is, it's up until moving here, driving sucked.
Yeah, and you didn't really need it either. Like we were so like close to
out here. I'm finally starting to feel it, where I'm like,
yeah, you're. I was wondering if you were gonna start feeling like the urge to be able to just like peace out of the house every now and then or something if
If
you
you have
wanted.
interesting shopping at this point, I'd like to be able to go out and like join the other housewives and husbands in their day-to-day activities.
Oh, Mr. Fahid. Firstly, thank you so much for the condolences. The Humane Society has two options: one in memory of Hobby Night Jack, or in honor of two in honor of Hobby Night Jack. Which option should I choose?
Whichever is probably fine. I suspect those are from other people.
Yeah, my guess is that because we actually did a donation, and I haven't
And I
actually.
could not tell you which one would be me.
Yeah, I have no idea which one would be us versus somebody else. So whichever one you want to choose. It's not.
Honestly, it's in either name. That way, it's
They're as far as I'm concerned, they're identical. Memory or honor of doesn't matter, and I don't remember which one you would have.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
whether you said honor or memory, but like Mr. Pahid, choose either. They both work. They both work very, very well. And if anybody else wants to donate, it was in my post on community.
It's in the link. It's actually in the description below to our local.
Oh, perfect.
Contra
Costa Humane Society.
That's our local Humane Society. Because once again, Jack and Kita are rescue cats from the Savannah, Georgia Humane Society. And
Chatham County, I believe.
Yeah, and I'm a big proponent of
adopting, not buying.
Yeah. There are situations where I understand, but yeah, for the most part, I am a big proponent of that. Shout out to Bob Barker, Spade Neuter Your Pets, etc., etc.
Exactly.
But you know, instead of super chat, I mean, if you send super chats, thank you, absolutely.
Yes. And we'll put all of that money towards Kita and making her life.
I was gonna say, already know that I already made a donation this morning. It was only $100, but I made a donation this morning to the Humane Society in Jack's name.
And we are actually, so this holiday season, we want to do a big fundraiser, like charity stream at some point. So
yeah, so
and that will be in honor of
Christmas time. Yeah, we're gonna do like some kind of marathon stream or something like that with the intention of
raising money for.
But what I want to do is I want to like contact the Humane Society themselves.
Yes,
and figure out if they have like a portal or something that could be set up or something. You know,
I want
to URL would be good. That kind of
thing. Something like that. Exactly. No. When the charity stream happens, that will be us directly contacting the Humane Society to work with them to like set that up. But for right now,
I don't want to be no Gerard the completionist. Okay, I don't want somebody to just go there.
Yeah, exactly. But I do want to do something like that because I think it's very important to support your local Humane Societies and to adopt the pets that go into there. I think that is incredibly important, and that's how we got Jack and Kita. And eventually, down the line, I think we'll probably adopt another one. Or two. We haven't decided yet, but
yeah, I think we've decided that we're gonna wait until after Kita goes to college.
Yes.
Just because she's old and this, I don't like the idea of like a baby cat getting to know her. And
well, she also like.
She would not like a baby.
Kita.
A baby would be hyper.
A baby would be hyper. She wouldn't know how to deal with it. I would be afraid she'd hurt the cat.
Yeah.
Or the kitten.
And it can be kind of ferocious to us when she doesn't want to be petted.
Yeah. When she's like, when I'm in the mood to be pet, I will let you know. And when I'm not, I'm gonna scream at you and use a lot of claws.
And the problem is that sometimes she'll be in the mood for it, and then suddenly she's not.
Yeah, and then she's like, oh, I hate this. Get away from me. Jack was never like that. Jack always loved every single snuggle you could give him. He was like, yes, give me more. All of the snugs, rub my face, rub my ears, scritch my chin, rub my belly. He wanted all of it. And that's one of the things that I absolutely loved about him. Like I know sometimes people compare their cats to dogs in regards to them following you around, them really being like super social and stuff like that. Jack was never around dogs to know how dogs behave, but Jack very much, in my opinion, had dog essence in regards to his friendliness and his love of just being involved in whatever was going on. Like Kita is very much more a quintessential cat. She will go off and do her own thing when she feels like it, and when she wants to be social, she comes over and lets us know and she'll be social. But like pets and lap time and all that kind of stuff are always on her terms. Jack, however, was like a dog. You could pick him up and like hold him and pet him and hang around with him and like
Jack, being a bigger cat, I think had good confidence. I don't think he ever like felt intimidated by
true.
much, except for vacuums.
And even then, by the like near the end, he's like, whatever, you're not actually that scary to me anymore.
Yeah. And going back to like the parties and such, like in college where he was sort of raised, like he was seeing like 2 house parties a week.
Yep.
And then he was seeing on top of that like multiple RPG nights.
Yep. Yeah, there were always people in your house.
Yeah, and the RPG nights in particular saw a lot of people bring book bags and purses and such. And that's where he developed, I mean, I know all cats have the if it fits I sits. But he had a particular thing for purses.
Yeah, he really loved being in purses.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about them, but like he gained that like weird fetish in college.
It's okay. All the ladies loved him anyways.
Oh,
so we
God,
didn't mind. They did.
That little pimp daddy.
He was such a pimp daddy. Ugh, the girls always squealed. It's because he was adorable.
Yeah.
But yeah, so going back to the map, we laid out all the terrain. We laid out all the really cool terrain that we got, and we were like, this looks fantastic. The terrain is amazing. Our table beneath, while I like the color and the pattern and everything, not so great with the terrain. It didn't really blend. So I was searching around online and I found a couple different places that were selling like Legion Imperialis scale mats. And I will admit, and again, not sponsored or anything, so I feel like I can say this, but I was looking at Gamer Mats EU because I know that's like I think that's actually where we got.
That's where we got ours like 10 years ago.
Yeah, I think that's where we got ours 10 years ago. I don't really feel like their mats have changed that much, and I didn't really like the styles that I saw available for the like ruins pattern. It just
like streets could have worked.
Well, that's the problem. Is it was streets, but it didn't really. Like, we have roads, so I felt like it was gonna conflict with the fact that we have actual roads.
I guess I see what you mean.
And so I was worried. Like, it wasn't so much that I didn't like them as much as I was like, oh, this has pre-printed as part of the mat road lines, or even like the impression of road lines. And I don't want to have to line our roads up with that and have it not work or look good.
Yeah.
So instead, I found the Deep Cut Studios. I found the Deep Cut Studios line. And the funny thing about Deep Cut Studios was I was going on their site. I just found their mats first. And after I had found the mats, I was like, oh, well, what else does Deep Cut Studios sell or whatever? And I realized they had a big banner, if you go to their homepage, for the new Army Painter brush pen.
That's right. I forgot about that.
And I'm so intrigued. I may end up grabbing
I don't buy it.
Well, see, I have used brush pens before. That's actually what I used to use when I would do most of the colored work in college. I would use watercolor brush pens that you could like.
You don't bloody say.
Yeah, so I like all of these are brush pens, and a lot of them I've.
Never
okay,
used.
some of the no.
You've never used the Oohoo-hoos.
No. These I did not. I also did not get these in college. Most of the ones in this tin. Can you please? Yeah, thank you. They're heavy. So the Sharpies, ignore the Sharpies. Those aren't brush pens.
The
but
things
all of
I
these,
get her that she never uses.
Listen, how dare you shame me? But yeah, so I love brush pens. I think they're great. I also have the style.
Yeah. All Copics.
Yeah, all Copics.
You freaking ex-comic book girl.
I am. But like, I really like them, and I'm curious. Like, my thing with them is I'm looking at the tips of the brushes that they do, and this is one of the reasons I want to try them. I'm not convinced that they're not going to get shredded on the sharp plastic edges of a miniature. Whereas like some of the brush pens I've used, which are ones that you can fill. Like, okay, so I think it was Goobertown had a video about them or something like that. I think, yeah, I'm like 90% sure it was Goobertown. And I was watching it, and he was talking about like making his own. And whoever it was, I'm pretty sure it was Brent, went and he got the Modelo refillable markers, which is another type of existing brush tip pen. It's actually a felt tip brush tip. It's not actually a brush tip. Like there are brush tip pens. Um but most of them are going to be a felt tip brush tip pen, which is what the Copics have, which is what Prismacolor does, and it's what Modelo does. However, Modelo, in my experience, is a acrylic, like you're doing street art or like really bright color poppy sorts of art. Like it's graffiti is where Modelo to me is graffiti art. And that's what graffiti artists would use because Modelo also does a huge, massive, beautiful line of rattle can primers. And you can use them on miniatures, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure. But um like
I'm curious how they work on Gunpla.
we'll see. So Gunpla, I've actually seen some acrylic marker pens advertised from Japan. Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is one of them. And those, yes, because they have really nice flat surfaces and they also don't do a lot of shading. And if they do, it's cell shaded. So which is a lot easier to achieve with pens than it is paint, in my personal opinion. However, like whatever you put the ink into, that is refillable, etc. But the difference between the watercolor ones and the Modelo ones is Modelo is an acrylic-based one, which is still water-based, don't get me wrong, but they are going for a thicker, more marker-like consistency of paint coming out of this pen. If you've ever used a Sharpie paint pen, that is what a Modelo acrylic pen is like, except far superior in its coverage, quality, and color like usage. They're just gonna have a lot more variety. And you can make your own and mix the colors, and so you can get unique colors out of it. Whereas you can't really do that with Sharpie. You're stuck with whatever Sharpie gives you, but they are the same concept. The brush one for watercolor is more like a literal brush tip. It is fibers and bristles, usually synthetic. I've not seen these done with like real bristles. I've only ever seen them as synthetic bristles, but they have a reservoir that you fill with ink or watercolor paint, as they are most often sold for, and you can use that and you can squeeze them a little bit and you get the flow, and then it saturates the bristles and you could use that. I want to see that kind of paint pen for miniatures. My concern with the ones that like are the felt tip ones is that they're gonna get shredded, and that's what I noticed in the video I was watching. Like I swear I was Goobertown that was doing it. So like, hello Angela, lovely to see you in chat. But yeah, so I want to see that, and that's. But I'm curious. So like, Deep Cut is the one who's making these. I'm probably down the line gonna pick them up, unless they happen to randomly be watching this and then they want to sponsor me. But I really doubt that's true. But yeah, I wanna look into those and like give them a try because I personally feel very familiar with using paint pens and paint brushes like that, like not the standard ones, but the marker type. And I'm very interested to see how that's going to actually work on a miniature. Gunpla, I think they're going to work great because I've seen that already. Like Japan already makes, I think some acrylic brushes that are recommended or like very often used by Gunpla artists and builders and stuff like such like that. So not really super surprised to see that going into the miniature direction. I'm just kind of curious to see if we're going to end up seeing an upgrade in the brush tip style because I feel like the paintbrush is still going to give you a superior control over what you're doing. And depending on like what scale or size of a miniature or what you're working on, like definitely could see the brush tips being good for like big flat areas to get like a good base coat over. But I'm like, or even doing fine art work on say a shoulder. Like if you want to be real painterly or draw like cool designs on your shoulder pads and such and do some freehand, I think they're going to be amazing for that. I just don't know if they're going to be amazing for like doing the entire process. Good morning, Gilby the Fat. All hail the Omnissiah indeed. Thank you guys for letting me just ramble today. I know we're not focusing hugely on what I'm doing with the miniatures, but this stream really was just kind of meant for Chaos Cultist and I be able to talk. And I don't want to use the word vent because that feels like it's like negative things are
I'll use it.
yeah, like
I'm feeling negative things.
I am feeling negative things.
Like, I'm
like
blunt there.
no, sorry. What I
I'm
meant.
just trying to make a joke.
No, I get it. Sorry, I'm taking things too seriously. But yeah, I just wanted to be able to rant and vent about both my sorrow for his loss and how much I loved him and was grateful for all the time that Jack gave to us, because he really was very important to us. And being able to do this and to just do this with my conversations and go all over the place and it not really matter today is exactly what I think. I don't know about you, but I think it's what we needed a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I think we needed to at minimum not just be talking to each other about it, because
Yeah,
if we just
we've been looping quite a bit.
Yeah, like we keep going through like
the same memories.
Yeah, we're going through the same memories, and then we're going through like feeling guilt, but then having to remind ourselves each separately that like no, we shouldn't feel guilt because we did everything right. Like, and we were good cat parents. We did all the proper things for him, and we gave him a long life that honestly we're really surprised it got to go as long as it did. And I'm really grateful that it got to go as long as it did, because
when I adopted that alley cat 17 years ago, I would not have predicted that he would make it as long as he did.
Yeah, agreed.
And I'm very like I mean, here's the thing, I'm not on camera, so when I get teary, I get to leave the room.
It's true.
But I'm at peace for him, and I think you are as well.
Yes.
It's really just, to put it bluntly, selfish sadness.
Yeah.
I'm sad that we don't have him anymore.
Yes.
I'm sad that, that kind of
Yeah, no, my sorrow is entirely selfish. Like, I think we gave him the best possible life. I think we did everything right by him, and
and it's not like he was in a good place and then some tragedy struck. He had lived.
Yes. And we got to take him across country. Like, he got to explore. And as you and I have like to say, he was a healing cat. He was our adventuring little paladin.
Yep.
And he's gonna just go on and continue to adventure around.
He was a nightmare as a kid. And I told you, mentioned way earlier that I first met him. He was climbing up the front cage, the front door of his cage.
Oh yeah, I remember someone else, like before we adopted him, someone else from the group that had come with us, like as part of the school community service, was holding him, and like Jack just climbed on his head.
Clawed up his head, leaped off of it, and then ran across the top of all the cages.
He was so wild. He was like, I don't want to be here. I'm a wild animal.
And the guy he clawed up annoyed me, so that added even more to
it. It did. I do think that was one of the reasons why you're like, that's the one I'm choosing.
It was a little bit. He was a 31-year-old hanging out with 19-year-olds.
It was a little weird.
Like, saying this now as someone who has been 31, now 37... it would not have been cool for me to hang out with sophomores in college, girls, as a 31-year-old man.
Yeah. Thankfully, though, I never...
He was in college. Let me make that clear. This guy we're talking about, he was a student at the college who had enlisted, like, his freshman year when he was 30.
Yeah.
And so he was in the dorms and such, I think.
I don't know if he was. I think he was off campus.
That would make more sense. But... And here's the thing, I know of nothing.
Yeah, I've never heard anything bad. He just kind of wigged us out a little bit.
But the fact that there was a 31-year-old man on the bus with all of the like anime girls and such.
Yes, because there was an anime club that I ran that was doing the charity work, which he was a part of. It was just a little weird.
Like I said, he never did anything wrong. This is simply ageism.
Yep.
But yeah, the fact that Jack clawed up his head in an escape attempt was great.
Yeah.
But oh god, he terrified my mother in Virginia, because my mother is a collector of antiques. If you're watching, hi mom. And one of the antiques that my mother had was, you've seen like those folding dressing screens in either a movie or something like that.
Yes.
My mother had like an Asian one. It may have been Chinese, but I'm not sure. Carved out of wood. like hardwood with a lacquer on it.
Yes.
And
he climbed it, didn't he?
he kind of, he climbed. I think he used it as a scratching post a little bit.
That's
too.
yes, that's what it was.
So he wanted to use it as a scratching post, but he also liked to scale it like Spider-Man.
Yep.
Because of all the little carving niches in for like serpents and flowers and such.
Yeah, he was able to like
he could
get handholds and he'd do a little rock climbing.
Oh yeah, he absolutely tore some of the lacquer off of it.
Oh yeah.
And my mother was like, "It's so expensive." And if she's watching this right now, my cat's joy is worth more to me. Haha.
Indeed. Dorjan Sebastian. Actually, I have played BattleTech Alpha Strike, and it is dope. I completely agree.
I have the terrain for that too.
I have that. Yeah, actually. So alongside the Gothic sector battlefield in a box stuff.
Right there.
Yes, I was sent the Hex Tech pieces as well. There's a couple on the shelf underneath on the table. No, by the wargaming table. He was just spinning in circles going down the hall. So yeah, I actually have the Hex Tech. Not all of it, but I have a fairly substantial collection of it. And don't get me wrong,
definitely enough for a table.
Definitely enough for a table. And yes, BattleTech is on my list of things to eventually do some streams for on the so here's some of the
the
terrain that we got.
If I can mix subjects here.
Yes, absolutely.
So one of the less positive side effects of Jack being in hospice for the last 5 years has been his feeding schedule.
Yes.
His
feeding schedule had gotten.
I don't want to talk about deteriorated.
No.
I want to talk about it.
Sure. Of course. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's your stream. I mean, I'm being.
No. It's important, and I want you to share. So please continue. I won't cut you off again.
His eating had gotten to the point that he only wanted to eat fresh food. He only would eat a little bit, but he would do it very often.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about immediately now, but I mean for the last couple of years.
Yes.
And so this kind of meant, and this sort of tied into why we never traveled.
Mm-hmm.
He seemed like he needed to eat every 4 to 6 hours.
Yeah, and sometimes it would be like every 2 hours, depending on like what time of the day it was, because like he really started to get into evening time habits of like, I really want food in the evening.
And because of this, Angela has suffered a lot as Jack's nurse. Don't show the terrain while I'm talking about.
Sorry. Somebody was saying pre-painted. Yes, pre-painted.
Yes, they are. But so Angela was Jack's nurse, feeding him at 11:30 at night, 2 a.m., 4 a.m.,
6 a.m.
6 a.m. And so you have not had a good sleep schedule in years. And I know that.
No.
And I have tried to help.
And you have. And that's the thing. And like, here's the thing. Yes, no,
but your sleep schedule is going to be very different now.
Yeah.
And we believe that honestly, it's probably going to help your health and mental well-being.
Mm-hmm.
And that coincides with just getting more done.
Yes. And that's one of the reasons why, like, even today, even though it's not even been a full 24 hours since we had to say goodbye to him, I wanted to get back to doing things so that life felt more normal.
The soundtrack of my life has "The Show Must Go On" from the Moulin Rouge on it.
Yes.
That's my life.
Yes, and I 100% agree with you there. Like, the show must go on, and I have been spending so much time and energy on being anxious and worried about him for so many years and taking care of him for so many years. And Chaos Cultist isn't kidding. Like, for the last 3 years straight, every single night, Jack has come to bed, gotten me up at least 2 to 3 times. Most of I always had major anxiety after like the first 6 months of this starting to happen if he didn't come get me 3 times a night, because if that meant something was wrong. Like, so, and which happened not super often, but often enough
He would
where like
occasionally get every 3 to 4 months. Jack would get constipation and scare us.
yes. And so like it was always, yeah, no, I completely agree that my sleep schedule will be very different going forward. And it's going to be weird, and I'm not super comfortable with the idea of it. Like I'm on one hand, if I may talk about a slightly conflicting feeling, on one hand I'm very excited to actually sleep through the night potentially fully. Like that's going to be weird. On the other hand, it's devastating to me that I'm going to get to sleep through the night potentially fully because I don't have a cute fluff meister waking me up because he's hungry. But I also know and could tell, especially in these last like 6 months, that the fatigue of keeping an eye on him, making sure he was eating, all of that, and then getting up all those times in the night was really starting to like wear on me. And there's a certain amount of relief that I don't have to experience that so thoroughly anymore. I am so sad by what that means, but I'm really glad that I was able to give him that time while I had him. And I wouldn't have changed a thing. Like, I want to be very clear. Would have never stopped getting up to give him food. Would have never stopped waking up for him, no matter what. Like, absolutely. I would have done it 100 times over. But it's gonna be weird if the bags under my eyes start going. Like legitimately, like, and I mean that for both of us, because like even though Chaos Cultist wasn't necessarily the one physically getting up and going down with him to get him fed or anything like that, like it would wake him up because like Jack had a really fun and cute habit of, instead of waking me up directly, he would wake Chaos Cultist up to then wake me up to get up to go feed him. And there were times where like I could catch him, I would hear him coming in anyways, and I'd be like, oh, it's time. Like I think my body just started to be like, it's 2 o'clock. Wake up. He's gonna be here soon. Um, and I would catch it, and there would be times where like CC wouldn't have to wake up or anything, but there were still plenty of times where he was woken up as well. And then when Jack finished eating, he always came back in and wanted cuddles. So that would also wake both of us up and we would cuddle him. And I don't regret that in any regard. I loved cuddling him in the middle of the nights. And he would end up sleeping on my chest. And it's so goddamn fucking cute. But it's gonna be weird not having that fatigue anymore. And it's already weird because like, and I feel this is like the one thing that I feel guilty about in regards to this, and it's not something actually worth feeling guilty about, but the consistency is gone, so I feel like the loss of it makes me feel guilty even though I shouldn't. But
We
like,
feel empty because we've lost a part of our routine.
yes, yeah, I there like so much of my routine for the last 5 years especially, since lockdown and us getting to spend so much consistent time with him, is disrupted now. And I think, I mean, I talked about it a little bit already. That's kind of why the house sometimes feels quieter, like even already, than it did in the past. And it's just gonna be weird.
There's someone watching who like owns a farm or something.
And they're like, wow, these guys are such pansies.
Yeah. If it isn't obvious, neither of us have had many pet deaths.
Yes.
But
Yeah, no, I just, the nice thing is like honestly, this talking about it has helped a great deal. Getting to just, and not for you and I to just be recycling.
yeah. Because admittedly, we are recycling a lot of what we've said.
Yeah, I am literally recycling a lot of what I've already said to Chaos Cultist and what we've repeated to each other.
Me too.
But like there is something very helpful about being able to even without you guys like being able to verbally respond to me or anything like that, I do see what you guys are saying in chat, and I really appreciate you. All of the kind messages and the condolences have been very, very like just it means so much. I'm not patting my chest because I was afraid I was gonna whack my.
I thought you were doing the sign of the Aquila.
It's the sign of the Keela. He's with the Emperor. But yeah, like I legitimately thank you for allowing me to just talk about him.
Okay, you can work on assembling these,
Mm-hmm.
or I'll give you a proposal.
Yeah.
Because we're on the laptop, we're mobile.
Mm-hmm.
You could go into the wargaming room and set up a table.
Oh yeah, with the terrain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fun. You guys want to go see? Let's do that. Let's do.
We're gonna go set up the terrain. So we're gonna be right back for about 5 minutes.
Yep.
We're gonna move locations, and we'll be back after that.
Absolutely. See you guys soon. Hold on, let me actually turn my mic back on. I was muted, so of course you couldn't hear me. But hey, we thought we might have to resync the camera when we moved because we got a longer cable and we adjusted things. But no, it looks like we're already here. Let me know.
To the sponsor who purchased the camera for us.
Yes.
It's still awesome.
Yes, thank you, Metallica Kind, for sending the DJI. It is absolutely bloody fantastic. And we got to use it yesterday to show you guys Jack, which I loved. So thank you. I want to call out one more time. I am going to be privating that Rogue Trader video and redoing everything that I did that day because it was a clusterfuck. And yes, you did get to see us make the decision. or the moment of us needing to make the decisions.
May I ask you?
Yes.
Do you want it to be privated or members only?
Members only.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll make it members only.
Okay.
That way members can still access it if they want to.
Yeah.
I think that's a great call. Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think what we should do to just sort of liven things up a little bit, and we can continue talking about Jack. I probably will, but like I said earlier in the video,
I was convinced at the end.
Oh yeah.
By the way, because I've been building my Solar Auxilia army off camera.
Yeah.
Which is great because you're never going to get them built.
It's true.
And so I was building them downstairs, and I am, just going to tell the story that Jack, the last few nights while they were on the table, kept getting on the table and batting them around. And I am not unconvinced that he didn't think like, oh, they finally got me an army for my size.
Yes. And he's like, yay, this is for me. I'm going to move them. Pew, pew.
Yeah.
It was very cute.
He likes Lehman Russes.
He really likes the Lehman Russes. He knocked like 3 of them off the table.
You know what?
He wanted them to go forward and charge.
I like awkwardly and yes, I am. Oh, look at that ball. Look at that. Look at that. You could like land a helicopter on that.
It's fine.
I have to own it.
Okay, you know what? And you are. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
This is what happens when you cut your hair about once every 6 months.
True. It's true. I'm really bad about cutting hair, so I don't do it very often, and we don't go out.
Well, the sad truth is we might more now.
Yeah, no, I only meant that as slightly awkward. Oh, Havin, thank you so much for the $5 donation. This is cathartic for you guys to talk it out. I view it as we're here to support and be there for you both as best we can without being there with you. No, you're absolutely right, Havman, and I really, really, really appreciate that you guys are here. Like, I even tried to, like, in all of my posts talking about this stream coming up, I was like, listen, I'm going to be honest with everybody. This is not necessarily going to be, like, the happiest or prettiest of streams in regards to emotion.
Yeah.
Because we are sad. Like, there is no denying that we are sad. But I also firmly believe that Jack would not want us to maintain being sad for very long, because part of why I think he stayed with us for those 5 years was to give us more time with him, because he saw how sad we had been and how scared we were the first time he got sick. And I genuinely believe that. So I don't want to dishonor him by not moving forward and just trying to continue on with my life, because I think that's what he would want. So that's what we're going to do.
With that awkward transition,
yes.
I'm going to talk about Gale Force Stein's streets.
Yes.
All right, so these are the roads pieces that I think are spectacular. So they seem to come in 2 sizes. We have this size, which is basically each lane is about the width of a infantry detachment base in the game. And they have a mixture of different setups. One thing I really like is they have these little connection nodes, like these little stickouts, so that when you put them on the table, they flex a little bit. They sink into each other, which helps them lock.
Which is really cool.
So that's nice. I will say, this is definitely some kind of rubbery resin material, and I'm pretty sure if I drop it, it will shatter.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely has that feeling. So I don't know if I could recommend it for... I mean, I think it's the same resin that these are made out of as well.
Yeah, and I would be, honestly, I would still be a little afraid to drop some of these.
Yeah.
I will admit...
I don't know if I would recommend these for a game store that has, children playing.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I just moved them off the table a little bit,
because I remember what I was like the terrain when I was 13 years old.
I can imagine.
And it was not kind.
I imagine. All right, let's see. Let's get this spread out. I think...
Yeah, looks like the long way.
Yeah, I think so. Or do we need to turn it?
Oh, wait, find out.
I think we need to turn it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Computer!
No!
Move more of this terrain.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, I think we need to move. I opened this up.
Yeah, I'm gonna
okay.
clear the ends.
Okay, cool.
Oh, look, we have hills.
Yay, hills! Hey, it actually looks kind of cool.
Yo, that would be a really interesting... Okay. For those of you who are familiar with plaster paper,
Yes.
you get a really big sheet of it, and you kind of put it out on a table like this,
Mm-hmm.
and then just misted it.
Mm-hmm. And let it dry that way.
And let it dry that way. I don't know, I feel like that could be something.
We could do small-scale tests in the garage.
But you have to probably get an easier effect of just carving out foam.
Probably, yeah. It's probably just easier to do that. Well, thank you, Heaven. We try to be honest and real about life and everything. Would the Gothic Imperialis work with Battletech Alpha Strike? I think so. I think they're roughly the same size as
They
the
are,
Hex
they're just not on hex basis.
Yeah, so the main problem that
Or
you
is Alpha Strike on hex?
No, it is still.
Okay.
They all use it.
Yeah, because they're still squares.
Yeah, the one problem is that
But they are the right height.
yes, sorry, my screen like dimmed really darkly and I thought I was going to sleep, even though I'm very clearly plugged in. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think we need to take
Almost there.
almost there.
This is our next big like war game plan, so I don't mind.
Yeah, that's why we're
taking over the
table space.
Mm-hmm. How much is hanging over the edge?
About like 2 inches.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the table is 4x5 actually.
It's not quite. It's a little bit.
Okay, well
By a
it's
little, I mean like 2 inches.
okay. I was gonna say it's nearly that size, and I remember that because when we bought it, we were like, "Oh, well, that will work fine," because we're never planning on doing like 4x
It's up to tiny bit.
Yeah, bigger.
Yeah.
Sweet. But this is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the size board that Legion Imperialis is supposed to.
Yeah, it's a bit of tape.
The tape is rolled up a little bit, and what the fuck is my hair doing?
It's going from one side to the other. Okay. I'm coming to save you.
What's
It's like
happening?
an animal in a trap.
I was like an animal in a trap. I couldn't tell which side it was on. The camera was confusing me. Yeah, so let's go ahead. Do you want to lay the roads out first, or how do you want to do this?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. We're going to put the non-destroyed buildings because we have, as we mentioned earlier, but I can show a little better now.
Yes.
We have the undestroyed, or intact, I guess is the correct word.
Yes, the intact.
Buildings. And then we have the ruined version of the buildings, because everything in Legion Imperialis has hit points and can be blown up.
Which I actually hadn't fully realized. And so I was actually mildly confused when Battlefront, or not Battlefronts, when Thunder... Hold on, let me remember their names fully, because there's like, they've got like a free word name.
Gale Force 9?
No, not Battlefront Miniatures. It's Thunder...
Junction.
No, not Thunder Junction. Thunderhead Studios.
Yeah,
Okay, so Thunderhead Studios, when they contacted me, because the Thunderhead Studios is the one who specifically has been in contact with me, sending me this product. It is published and like sold by Gale Force 9, and Battlefront Miniatures also has a hand in it because their name is on the box, but it's Thunderhead Studios who I've been in contact with. And so I was really confused when I got the invoice for the second like wave, which is the ruined stuff, which is not out. So the stuff that is intact, the completed buildings, that is currently available.
Be careful on that side of stuff on the
I will. You can absolutely, if you're interested in this stuff, you can purchase that now. If you want the ruined terrain and some of these roads, I believe that is what is coming out in either the end of this month or beginning sometime in March. And I'm really excited for people to actually get their hands on these because I think they're really, really cool. And one of the reasons, so the reason I was confused is because I was like, oh, well, but didn't they send me, like, I think, because they sent me them in 2 separate, like, packaging and, like, shippings. And so I was like, I thought they had already sent me, like, some of these buildings, because it was, like, the Ministorum and, like, or the Astra Ministorum or various other, like, buildings like that. And I was like, that's so weird. That's so weird. And then I realized when they got here, they were ruined versions. Like, I'm surprised. But then then Chaos Cultist was going over the rules with me, and I was like, oh, terrain is actually destructible. That is sick, and I love it. And now we have both sets of all the buildings in both their ruined forms and their completed forms, and I cannot wait to actually play through a game in
legitimate. Broke one of my Medusas.
Oh no! What?
He broke one of my Medusas.
He did? Oh, I see that.
Oh, absolutely.
So we did knock something over
So
yesterday.
yes, I just wanted to give a little bit of sense of.
Yes.
These are not fully painted. I'm in the progress.
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to sort of show you, like, on this one, this is one of the small roads. You can see what the scale is to the vehicles. And so the frontmost one is the Lehman Russ, the one next to it is the Medusa, and then the one in the back, the Long Boy, is the Malkador.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's gonna be a really easy fix. It's a clean.
Oh yeah, that's where it glues on.
Yep. Okay, so let's get all the roads onto the board and we can start laying them out however we want to do that. Okay, so we have a bunch of these narrow ones which are designed for more of like smaller troops, and then we have the big ones which are more for like the tanks and all sorts of stuff. I'm thinking more centered is what we'll probably do. So what if we put like one of the junction points?
Yeah, I was gonna say we should probably put a large road junction in the middle.
That's absolutely what I'm thinking as well. And so then we'll start sort of setting these together. God, they're so cool how they like interlock like that. Do you want to zoom me out just a little bit so we can see a little bit more?
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's absolutely fine. So I'm thinking maybe go ahead and do something like that to start us off. And then we can sort of build out from there. Because we do have ways to connect the little pieces into the big ones. Like, for example, this one would allow us to offshoot a small road here.
Mm-hmm.
We could obviously move that to other places. What are you thinking?
Yeah, we'll also have to have some of them, I think, just dead end into buildings.
Oh, absolutely. Do you want to do like...
Or I need to build craters. I need to get my craters painted.
We do need to get the craters painted.
Yeah, so, because we also have, for some endings, we have these really cool, they're like tunnel entrances for going underground.
Yeah, which is really neat.
Yeah, which I think is a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, yeah, let's have one on each end, one curved.
Curved, okay. I'm going to do that because if you notice, I'm putting the small road going on these sides.
Okay. Yep.
Oh, actually, this is also a junction one, so we can.
That's what I'm saying. Some of these might just dead end into a building, though.
Yep.
No, it's a big one.
Oh, that's a big one. You're right.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's where we'll have to dead end into a building.
Okay.
Like, honestly, because that one's pretty central, and we're not. Once again, Legion Imperialis is not a game one plays competitively, I don't think.
I don't think so either.
It's not what we're going to play competitively. So, can you please remove that?
Yes.
Thank you. So I was thinking something like that.
Sure.
Just to represent, driveways and such going to the building.
I do like it, but because there's two of them on this side, I almost feel like we should put two of the slightly smaller buildings into, like, you see what I'm saying? Like, put this maybe on this side. Because then we can have a small road going up here doing the same driveway thing. And then off of this, maybe do
some of the smaller buildings.
Some of the smaller buildings. Like, yeah, I was going to say, those are all the ruined ones. Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking like maybe something like that. That way the road connects there and on that side. And then maybe having one of the towers here. I like having maybe one of the towers like out here.
Because come on, you gotta use the entire board.
Yes.
So I don't want to make it too
dense
in the center.
Yeah, no, and I completely agree with that.
And that's why I was saying, like, okay, maybe I should actually get some of those craters painted up.
Yeah, no, I think getting some craters.
That would get some good, like, orbital bombardment feel. Of a box of old plastic craters I've never painted.
Yeah, I think we've had those since college.
Yep. Yeah, I think it was the set they rolled.
Yeah, I think it's like an old 4th or 5th edition set that GW used to sell. Back when they used to sell the big Citadel, I don't know, I'm pointing off screen. The big Citadel,
Wrong with War.
Yeah. Kind of like that dead ending there.
Yeah, we also have two of the small tunnel entryways as well.
And then maybe having that there.
Mhm.
And then hooking. What do you think about hooking like this? Maybe going this way, and then having like a random curved, just to
Sure.
imply it goes elsewhere, like out.
Yeah, I mean that'll be part of the board.
And then maybe you put one of the small ones on the curved, or the
Yeah, the curved I think has a little more personality.
yeah.
So yeah, we'll go with that. How's chat?
Chat is doing great. Yes, these are for epic scale miniatures, absolutely. They do look fairly large, but they're actually like, I mean, they are, but in the sense that they're scaled properly to very, very tiny boys.
Oh, tanks?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean on the roads too. It's like, have you ever seen an actual like battle tank of the US military on a civilian road? They big.
Yeah. Exactly. And then yeah, I feel like we can have some like buildings sort of out away from the roads as well, just to be like
Yeah, it's implied that there's like little roads and such.
going out to them.
Yep.
Exactly. I was really trying to figure out if any of these, like here, like give me that building for a second. Like if any of these notches on the small ones could actually line up with their little, because they all have, I don't know how much chat's noticed them, but all these little buildings have these tiny little, I know this isn't in focus, I can't tell. These tiny little stairs arching off, and I keep wanting, like, in one of these little notches where the roads connect to each other, for this to just sit perfectly into one of those, but that's not how it works.
No. That goes at the end of that road.
This one? Perfect. Yeah, I like this.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot of dead space over here.
Well, and again, I think we can maybe like bring some craters in, etc.
Yeah.
Hell, the other thing is
it could just be, you know, over here. Yeah, like you said, we do the craters, and it's just that's the part of the city that got taken out in orbital bombardment.
Right.
This was the part that was defended by AA batteries.
Yes.
And yeah.
Yeah, this is the part that my Death Guard blew the fuck up, and your Imperial Guardsmen have held this area, and we're coming in, and we're gonna kick ass. Do we have? Okay.
Because yeah, we could even use like, you know, I'm looking at some of these old AA guns like from Warhammer.
Yes.
If we wanted to do some missions with like, as I just said, some anti-air emplacements, or you know.
Thank you, Robert. It's been tough for us, I will admit. We spent a lot of the first portion of this episode or this stream talking about just our love for him and how great and wonderful he was, and we really, really appreciate everybody's well wishes and condolences, and we really just very much appreciate being able to share him with you guys and talk about it. It's been very cathartic for us. It's really helped me. Honestly, I haven't cried on this stream as much as I thought I was going to. I was really worried that I was just gonna bawl my eyes out the entire time, because I am very sad. But part of why I wanted to do this stream, and I've already said this before, but I'm gonna repeat it because I can, and it's my stream, damn it. But one of the reasons I wanted to do this was because I knew that being able to talk about how wonderful Jack was and being in my life, and all of the good times that we had with him, and how sweet and adorable and just loving he was, that it would work out really well. You know, we could end up putting some of those just like as defense ports outside like the city walls, like as
Could be. I like my idea.
like having them on top.
Mm-hmm. What?
I think they're a little big to be on top of there properly.
Do you not know how Warhammer works?
No, I do.
You mean they're too large. That is literally the size of macro batteries defending everything in Space Marine 2. I
mean, you're right. It is.
I'll take them off. But...
No. I actually, it does, like, the more that I look at it, the more it is pretty great. Especially actually the, the Auspex towers, I guess, is what they are.
I think it's just a communication tower.
Yeah, like the communication tower. Like, that actually really adds to the toppers a little bit. I do like it. Mixing our eras. Too much holy god emperor on those. They didn't worship him so hard.
This is one of those planets that got a little too into it.
The word bearers were like, hey, we spent a little time here. And,
Lex Imperialis was written by him. The other option is you can always scoot like everything like 6 inches towards you.
We absolutely could.
And we probably will do that before the actual.
I agree. I think so. I think yeah, I just think.
Even it out more.
Yeah. I just think we went really dense on that side, streetwise, and then we went a little lighter, and so we need to shift it over for balance purposes. Absolutely. Havman asks, do you replace the buildings with damaged ones as you play? Only if they actually get blown up. Because in this game, like a lot of times, so unlike in normal Warhammer 40k or even in like Blood Bowl or those kinds of things, most of the units, even the tanks, will sometimes only have one wound. And so the buildings are very vital to your units being given protection, etc. Yeah, especially to the infantry. So as we've been watching battle reports, we've found that yes, buildings get blown up a lot. Like if your infantry end up in buildings, which is probably like, from my understanding, seems to be what you want to do, because it gives them bonuses and such.
It keeps them alive.
It keeps them alive, really. Yeah. So it keeps and hopefully allows you to either secure objectives.
Each building will have a certain number of wounds. It has a certain armor save, and the important thing that's really tough about buildings is while they have an armor save similar to what you're used to in Warhammer of 3 up or 4 up, they make them on 2d6 added together.
Yeah.
Which, shout out to Rogue Trader. That's how Terminator used to work.
Oh, very nice.
Terminator's had a 2-up save or a 3-up save that you made on 2d6.
Nice.
That's right. You need AP to kill them.
I see. That's cool. But yeah, so it will get destroyed as if it gets shot. Hello, Kita.
There is a cat meowing for food.
Is she meowing?
Still happens.
My goodness. Hi. Are you hungry? All right.
Wait, we're gonna capture the other cat.
Okay. Hello, Kita.
I'm trying.
I think it's going down towards
it. There it was. There she was. All right, folks, we'll be right back.
I'll be right back.
Okay, I'm gonna take you guys. Yep, they can. All right, we're just gonna. Yeah. So we're gonna take a look at some of this terrain. I think this, looking at these camp. Can they hear me? I guess they can.
Yeah, nom that. She's so good. Oh, has it not been? Oh, shit. Have we been using the Mac mic then?
Yes.
Ah. Well, ha on me. So they could hear you then and not me.
Yes.
Perfect. Excellent.
Yeah, by the way, look at how this looks. Does this not look almost identical to some of the battle report you
Dude, I wonder if this is what they've been using or the older version, because I know this is the 3.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that looks almost
oh, it's so good.
1-to-1 with what I've seen some of the pro boys use.
Indeed. Metallica Kind, genuinely, thank you for sending us the DGI. It has been a goddamn godsend, and it's been super nice. Like, I feel like my streams are so much more engaging because I can move y'all around a little bit more, and I do love that.
Yeah, it was just on the MacBook Pro mic before, so it was probably a bit echoey, but you were still clear.
Oh, okay. That's fine then. Okay, that's not too bad. You assume you can just put people in the buildings too? Yeah. Any of your troops, I do believe, can just enter freely.
Anything that's infantry.
Yeah, anything that's infantry. I don't know how these function for like maybe tanks being like inside.
So we would have to basically decide that.
Oh, okay.
I bought the 2 ebooks for the rules beyond the core.
Okay, cool.
There's a 3rd one too, but I think it's almost all Mechanicum, so I didn't get that.
Okay, yeah, because we're not playing with Mechanicum yet. Although I do want to down the line.
And I haven't finished looking through it yet, so they may have special terrain rules which may be used for those.
Okay, I
also do like the idea of it even being something where like you drive through one of them, you disappear for a turn, and you come back in through a different one.
I love that idea, especially especially the same size ones. Like you can I
think it should be any of them, honestly.
Okay,
that way you can go all over the damn table.
True.
That's just my thought.
Well, do the tanks fit on these roads though? I guess they could. It doesn't matter. They could just be in the center.
Size 2 would fit.
Size 2 would fit? Okay, so like my,
the Bane Blades.
The Bane Blades would not be able to, but
correct.
Okay. Yeah, I think as long as it makes sense to the scale of the vehicle going through.
The game designer will find one. There was also a donation that came through.
Oh, was there a donation that came through that I missed?
Was that or a subscription? I don't know. I heard it like 30 seconds ago.
Oh, we did have just a subscriber, Milkman2236. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. It's lovely to have you here. Again, I'm not seeing any other
stuff. So yeah, that should be good. Oh, Alpha Strike doesn't use hexes apparently. I looked back up in chat a little bit. I thought when I played it, maybe we were just
playing Alpha Strike, or was someone teaching you like?
I've done both.
Version of, okay.
No, I've done both. I played Alpha Strike once because I definitively remember the guy who taught it to me was like, "This is like 40K," and I was like, "Cool, that'll be very understandable for me. I'm very familiar with 40K." Or like Kill Team or something like that. He likened it to a Warhammer or GW brand. Whereas like I know normal BattleTech is way more complicated, which I have also played. And I do know that one's on hex grids. I thought all of the...
I could go downstairs right now, but I don't want to.
That's absolutely fine. Well, the reason I thought that, or I just made the assumption, is because I'm pretty sure even if it's not played on a hex, they're still on hex bases, so I think I just assumed it was on a hex grid, but I don't think there was like actually a grid, I guess, on there. I think we were just...
Okay, then absolutely it would work for it in a grim, dark BattleTech planet.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we could totally use it for that. It was just a sub? Okay, cool. Yeah, that's all I was noticing in chat was just a sub come in, so thank you. Good, keeping us on top of that. But yeah, like I'm really pleased. This mat looks great. This fills in the aesthetic that I felt like was missing over just having this as the undertone. The color works with it well. It's like we're playing in a 2000s video game. It's a bunch of grays and browns.
Yeah, kind of splashed together with a...
Although I will say on camera, there is actually more of a red to this mat than is...
over here.
Yeah, I think it's the way I think there is some like reddish browns in here. Like I am definitely noticing.
Come stand by the camera and look at the map. Does it look more red over here?
It looks more red over here, but here's the thing. Like here, no. Here, yes.
Yeah.
So I definitely think it's something to do with the lighting, but I definitely see the red, and it looks really pretty actually on screen because the terrain actually comes across as a bit more blue.
Yep. It did.
So actually, yeah, it looks great. I love it. Meow. Did you eat? Did you enjoy your chicken, little girl?
Yes, she did. She's looking at me.
Good. She being a cutie?
She is.
Oh my goodness.
Find her.
Oh, I see you. Hi. Being so cute. Look at you, switching your tail.
That's Kita.
That's Kita. That's our shy girl.
Why are you pointing at me?
Why are you? Oh my God, look how tiny and cute she looks.
That's as big as I can zoom.
Oh my goodness, she's adorable.
Kita.
Meow. You want to come up?
She has a slightly arthritic hip.
She does. Although we have been giving her some medication that's been helping with that. You want to come? You want to come up here? She's like, no, I really don't like that father's pointing that thing at me. You're so cute. Is this mic on now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That way they can actually hear me this time. Hi, yeah. Yeah. Was a good girl. Was a good girl. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. One of the things that I've also been incredibly grateful for, chat, is she, so far, doesn't seem to have cared. And while that may feel cold and harsh, while they would like stay next to each other on the couch and stuff, they were never cuddlers together. Like Jack was a cuddler. God damn did he want to cuddle her. But Kita is not a social cat. And so...
What's wrong?
Oh, I just wanted to make sure that I was like, I saw some little bars and I was like, am I not showing the top of my screen? But it's fine. Everything's good.
I'll do it.
Yeah, no, she definitely was never as social around people. She also did not... Okay, yeah. She also did not have, like, I never hosted parties at my place. My place wasn't big enough for it. I also just, honestly, I didn't have the kinds of friends that would want to come over and do those kinds of parties. So whenever I did party, it was always at his place or, as we mentioned, the billionaire's place. And that was always very fun, and I enjoyed that. And I was...
To be clear, like, everybody partied at his place.
Oh, yeah, like...
It wasn't like some exclusive thing. He was a very fun, like, outgoing man.
Yes, very, very social. had parties all the time. We didn't even go to all of them.
No.
Like he had parties all of the
There were
time.
tiers. You had to be certain tiers of friends to come to certain parties.
Yes.
That came with certain benefits. I'm not going to talk about that.
Yep. And so like,
I was not on that tier.
no, neither was I.
I was on the friendly acquaintance. I got to go to the big, like...
The big group social events.
Yeah, the big group social events. I didn't get to go to the, like, me and the boys. Like, there was a point he flew out the people we know.
Yeah.
Beach house. They were, like, some of them. I don't know if you
Yeah, yeah.
But, like, they flew out to, like, his family's island.
Damn.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard about that. That's sick.
Yeah, that happened to my friends, too.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool.
Like, my other, like, college mates who, you know...
Yeah.
I don't want to drop.
Yeah, of course.
They went on that trip.
Oh, that's very sick. Very, very nice. Is that true? Your boy was also super cuddly, but your girl isn't? I don't know. Like maybe it's a gender thing. Like maybe girl cats are just a little less social or something, and maybe boy cats are a bit more social. But yeah, she also just didn't have people around that much. And unfortunately for her, my roommate at the time when I first got her hated how much she meowed at his door every time he closed it. And I told him, like, dude, just don't close your door and she'll be fine. Like she'll come in, she'll maybe meow at you once to say hello, but like, it's not going to affect your comic making process, okay? And he was like, no, I really don't want her in here. And it wasn't because he was allergic or anything, because I made sure before I got her, I was like, you're not allergic to cats, right? Because I want to get a kitten. Like, I need this. And he's like, oh yeah, no, that's totally fine. And she really wanted to be with him, and he was like, no. And so like, she never super socialized. And so that's why I think she is just a bit more shy. Oh, good. She's coming up here, though. That's good. She also, I think, was having hip pain for a really long time, and we hadn't really noticed. And we recently started giving her basically a monthly shot that is supposed to alleviate arthritis in cats without... It is, but it's a steroid injection that supposedly does not affect their kidneys in the way that this medication previously used to affect their kidneys, which is great news, which is why I was okay with giving it to her, because I know kidney disease is a problem in cats. That's literally what took Jack from us. And so since we've been giving her those shots for the last like three months, I think it's been now, she has been moving so much more. She's actually jumping without whining as much, and it's so wonderful to see. And I'm very glad. Hey, Kitty, you want to come up here? Meow, yeah. Look at you. Look at you. Hi. Hi. She also hates being picked up. Like, absolutely hates it. I will pick her up. She will scream. So I'm not going to, because I don't want to put you guys through that. But she is such a lovey girl. And when she wants lap time, she will absolutely be like, yep, it's time. Let's do it. Oh, you're purring so loud. Did you enjoy your lunch? Did you enjoy your lunch, little girl? Yeah. Yeah, you're so good. Just like your brother. Yeah.
Gita, do you have anything to say to the people?
She looked at, no comment, but she looked at you guys. She was like, huh, hello, the people? My fans? Honestly, this is great for me. So thank you guys for allowing me to just show off my little girl, talk about some fun stuff. I do not need a kitten. Chaos Cultist and I do, down the line, want to adopt again. We will go probably to our local Humane Society if we're still in this area, which I suspect we probably will be. And we will probably adopt another cat once she has left us. We considered the idea of potentially trying to bring a kitten into the house while she was still here. And I just, honestly, for her health, I don't think that would be good. The kitten, I think, would be fine. The kitten would be rambunctious. We'd play with the kitten plenty. He or she would get plenty of attention. But I think, like, Kita was already stressed to hell when she first met Jack. And we kind of had to rush that because we were, like, moving in together and they had never met before. So it was sort of a rushed experience. And even though obviously we would be able to keep the cat much more isolated and give them a lot more time to get used to each other, I don't know if Kita would deal with it well. Like, I say she's been dealing with, like, Jack not being here because I don't know if she's really fully realized that he's not here. And And honestly, I don't know if she actually will, because again, she did not snug with him in the way that like two cats can sometimes. Like they were never like so bonded that they would like create a cute heart shape, like as sleeping together kind of
Jack
thing.
would try to nuzzle her, she'd hiss at him.
Yeah, if Jack ever got in her face, like 9 times out of 10, especially in their youth, she was like, and half the time she would claw at him. The clawing stopped, I would say, like relatively quickly within like 3 years of them being together, but it was still
quickly 3 years.
But it was still 3 years. It still took her time to really relax and not want to bat at him with her
Yeah, I
claws.
think she's territorial.
She is super
I
territorial.
worry about what would happen, like, if we started dawdling on a kitten.
Yeah, and I also, I don't want her to get jealous or like feel like she's being like neglected or anything. Like I already worry about that to a small degree with how much time and attention we were doting on Jack, because he was the sick one of the two of them. And so he just physically needed more attention. He also was just a more cuddly cat, but I don't want to bring a new kitten into the house while she's still here and potentially cause her health to suddenly rapidly decline or her attitude to change or anything like that, because I just don't think I could deal with it. So no kittens right now. Really appreciate the idea and definitely want to consider that in the future.
I also want to travel.
I also, like we have not traveled because we've been afraid to leave both of them because of their age, because of Jack's health and all of that. And like nothing immediately, but I do want to be able to feel like I can safely go to Adepticon. Like I want to be able to at least feel like I can travel within the US and not feel guilty about leaving them at home alone or something like that for an extent, or with a house sitter who doesn't know them the same way that we do, who they're not comfortable with, etc. So it was something that we just never could do, or felt like we could do. Like I'm sure we could have. I'm sure that we were just being...
Going back to some of you, I'm sure who either found us or have been a fan of the No Rolls Bard content. We've never been able to go to England to do that.
Yeah, that's one of the big reasons why I've never like really reached out to No Rolls Bard to be like, hey, I'd love to come visit and do like an in-person thing.
Because even monetarily, it would probably be worth it for us to just buy the plane ticket.
Yep.
If they would feature us.
Yeah, exactly. Like that would, like I would not expect them to bring me out. It would be something I would pay to go out there, but I would love to be able to like do stuff with them. But I never actually felt like I could even approach that conversation because one, I didn't want to leave Chaos Cultist alone with Jack for an extended period of time because that
I'm anxious and have depression issues.
And as we mentioned very early on, like Chaos Cultist and Jack very much bonded. Like they are very bonded pair. And I just don't know. I just never wanted to like leave them, the two of them alone. And I definitely did not want Chaos Cultist and I both going to England and having to leave Jack alone with a stranger, or like even if we left them with extended family, like he's not used to other people in that way anymore. Like as much as we socialized him as a youth, and that's why he's so cuddly and friendly with us in his later years, he was a bit more skittish as he got older around new people coming in. Like eventually he would always come and be like, okay, fine, I've gotten used to you. Mom and dad seem fine with you, so I'm gonna come over. But like when we would have friends come over, he would be like, are you cool?
I think it's because as his body deteriorated, his confidence in self-defense and such fell, you know?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And that's why like, it's why there's a lot of reasons why we didn't travel, but he was definitively one of the main ones. Both of them were. She's better about like being alone for extended periods of time because I actually, when she was a kitten, and I do actually feel a little bad about this, but I think I've made up that time like tenfold because of just being home with her for 5 years straight, because I haven't had to go back, gratefully, I have not had to go back to like normal office work or anything like that because I was able to make YouTube work for me and make other like career paths work for me. But like when she was a kitten, I house sat for a professor of mine when he did one of the study abroad programs actually that I did. But he went to it again a second time because obviously he was a professor. He was one of the people that managed it. And at this point I was out of college. So I'd already finished my degree, but I was still in town, and I helped him out a few times, like for classes and stuff like that. Probably the school wouldn't necessarily approve, but who cares?
You did shit TAs weren't allowed.
Yeah, I was helping with like grading when I probably should have been, but fuck it. Listen, when I said I was a little bit of a goody two-shoe, all I was doing was putting them into piles that I thought this one could be this, and he was giving the final grade, but I was doing the initial work of analyzing, going, has this student tried or not on this assignment? And if no, put them in this pile. If they seem like they tried and that they might be like a decent, like a B or an A or something, put them in this pile. It was sort of that, but it still wasn't something I should have been doing because I wasn't actually a TA. I wasn't even a grad student.
You do not, as someone who has the degree, you do not.
Yes, that was great. Your hand was like,
I know,
that was perfect. So it was great. It was really funny. But yeah, so I house sat for him after I'd graduated, and he had 2 dogs and 2 cats. And they were also older and needed a lot of attention. To the point where like I was staying over, like to do this for him while he was out. Because he and his wife both went to France for the study abroad because he liked to bring her over there and spend time with his wife. I don't fucking blame him. So I sat and house watched and pet watched for him for like 3 months. And for 3 months, I was not in my own place much at all with her. And I feel terrible about that. But again, I really feel like I've made up a lot of that.
Still going in every day. Your roommate was there.
Yeah, my roommate was there. She wasn't completely alone. It's just I wasn't with her, and I feel bad about that.
I just want to make that clear that you didn't leave a cat alone in a building for 3 months.
No. I was still going over and feeding her every single day. I was still socializing with her every single day, but I was not spending the night in my own place. And I do feel bad. Like, I feel like some of her lack of cuddliness is because I wasn't able to like be at home with her in those early stages of her kittenhood, where she could have curled up next to me in the bed, kind of thing. And I do regret that a little bit, but she also is such a lap cat now. Like, she really loves being in my lap, and I appreciate that. To Boldly Goes Model Works, age is but a number for a cat. I've had 2 girls, both queens, going to 19 and 22 respectively. Boys are just clingy. Our girls are just meh. You know, I really like, I feel like everybody who's like, yeah, if I have a male cat, super cuddly, super like, or super social, maybe not necessarily cuddliest, but like much more social, much more like, I want to hang around. And then seemingly girl cats are a little more like antisocial. Maybe that's where the stereotype about cats being less social comes from, is that it's a bunch of people just were dealing with a bunch of female cats who were like, I don't like you guys. But you do, because you're hanging around. I really hope she's not looking for him. I don't think she is. I think she's just like, hey, what's going on? Why are you talking up here? Why are you in this room? This is a weird room for you to be in. Normally, you don't stand in this room and talk to no one.
She's not patrolling in a way that makes me think she was looking for him, because if she was looking for him, she'd go check the bathrooms, the office.
She checked the office.
And she's not doing that.
No, she's just like sniffing clothes that I have on the floor and coming over and meowing at me. So yeah, I think
it's her mid-afternoon when she wants attention.
Mm-hmm. Which I'm glad that she does. Because there was a while where like she wasn't as active as she is now. And I'm really glad that she's gotten more active. And again, I think it's because her hips don't hurt as much, which I'm incredibly grateful for. All right. We just hit the 3 o'clock mark.
So I was thinking, since we've kind of hit a natural end to this.
Yeah.
And I should eat at some point.
Yeah, you still haven't eaten lunch. I actually think that's a good point. And Tim, that's no problem. We're actually, I think, going to wrap up here.
Do you want to potentially come back later tonight with Rogue Trader, or you just want to take it off?
I think I'm going to take it off.
Okay.
I think once I get done with like tax stuff tomorrow, because I do want to work on I do want to start working on collecting all of the documents at minimum tomorrow. Yes, I will do more than that. But yeah, I want to start getting all that together.
I already did mine.
Yes. So I want to work on that. So I think we're going to be back on Friday, because today's Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Okay, tomorrow's Thursday. I know normally we stream on Thursday, but I think I'm gonna use tomorrow.
Well, let's just see. Maybe in the evening.
That's true. If we do stream tomorrow, it'll be in the evening, and it probably will be Rogue Trader. It'll probably be redoing the stuff that I did yesterday when all the drama was happening. But yeah, I really, really appreciate you guys coming out today. I have no idea here. Actually, before we leave, I want to see like where are we at still with viewership.
I think we have about 20 people.
Nice. That's awesome. That's exactly what I was hoping for. So thank you guys so much. Actually, there's 24 of you still watching right now. So I just want to say to everybody who has been in chat throughout today, to anybody that is watching this as a video on demand later, thank you guys for just allowing Chaos Cultist and I to talk about how much we love Jack and how much we miss him, for allowing me to cry a little bit and to have ugly faces and all of that. Like, I really appreciate it. I know we've been kind of all over the place with this stream, with setting things up and showing off some cool stuff, but also talking about some sad stuff. But ultimately, I hope it wasn't sad. I hope most of it was positive and just showcasing how good of a boy Jack was, how much he meant to us, how much I think he meant to some of you guys who have known him and been with us for a long time. And I just really, really appreciate this opportunity and having, honestly, a platform to be able to discuss this, because I do genuinely feel that if I bottled it all up, if Chaos Cultist and I were just circling back and forth with each other and that was the only people we were talking about it with, I think it would be much, much more difficult for me to continue to live my life for him, which is what I want to do. And so thank you guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you all. And we will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Take care.